this? Wait, what is this? A lot of pressure on me, but you don't know me. Man, I asked for this, and so I laugh at this. It's the fourth quarter, how to come back from this. But I love this game, you gon' know the name. It's OZone Sports Facts, let's layer the flame.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the OZone. Live from Koreatown on a hot, sunny day in California. I am your host, Omar Miller, and I'm here with two of my favorite people on the planet. My brother from the same mother, Terry Miller, also known as the Icons.
Oh, yeah.
And my brother from another mother, straight off the East Coast and straight off of Daddy Duty, Mr. Bobby Cannavale. Hey!
Yes, you. BC in the place to BC.
What's up, boy?
Hey, I'm good, man. Damn, Koreatown.
Koreatown.
Yeah.
Are you
Wow.
missing the snow? That's all I want to know.
I'm not missing the snow, dude. I'm not missing the snow with two babies for sure.
So years ago, Bobby and I did a pilot together. I'm going to tell you guys a great story. Bobby's a great friend of mine.
That's not where we met.
And no. Just, can I tell stories?
Let me take over.
Already? Okay, it's me and you.
So this is going to be a silly edition of the OZone, but we'll get to it eventually. Anyways, years ago, Bobby and I did a pilot together because he blessed me with the opportunity to work. He said, hey, man, you thinking about they gave me a show. I want you for the show, blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, I'll do it. Now, meanwhile, I was up for a role in Transformers that was going to pay me a lot of money. And so the kind of friendship that we have, which is the same friendship he has with a lot of people because this is just how he is. This is how I am. This is why we get along. I said, no, man, I'm with you. I'm all the way with you. He's like, good. It's going to be great. The cast is crazy. We got Rashida Jones, Hector Elizondo, Mercedes Ruehl. Man, this is going to be dope. We do the show. The show is funny. I get a phone call because Paul Reiser actually created the show. I get a phone call from Paul the day before they announce whether or not the show gets picked up. And he says, hey, I don't got great news, but, you signed me up for the next Omar Benson Miller project. I was like, oh, that was nice of him. He didn't have to do that. Years later, I found out that Bobby was the reason that we didn't do the show.
What do you mean?
Because Bobby didn't want to shoot in Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And that's why I asked him if he missed the snow right now. By the way, the small cameo you saw me in Transformers was because I was supposed to play the other role. But it worked out because I got to do another movie, which was actually great.
The timing wasn't right, man. I wasn't ready to be in LA then.
That's all I'm saying.
I wasn't ready to have babies.
I understand.
I was where I was.
I'm not mad at you, brothers. I'm not mad.
You seem a little mad.
Me? I'm not mad at all.
Oh,
no,
man.
I got to do that other movie. I got to do that Things We Lost in the Fire and work with Benicio and Hallie and those guys. That was actually, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Even better story is how we actually met.
When we bifurcated?
When we bifurcated, I give you all that great advice. Career, financial advice.
Bifurcation was...
Remember that?
That was
I lost my mind when I found out about bifurcation. Right? I thought I was super smart learning about bifurcation.
And I did it. And I
You
still
did
get
it.
residual checks for $1.72.
You're welcome. Yeah, dude.
No, but that is a great story how we met because we met doing a film called Shall We Dance where Bobby actually thought that he was meeting me because another actor had been hired.
Yeah, right, which we won't say his name, but unfortunately sometimes these things happen where an actor doesn't, let's say, things don't work out.
Yeah.
And it was a different actor playing this role, and then things didn't work out before we started shooting, and then all of a sudden there was Big O, and boom, immediately, right? You had like recently done 8 Miles, so
Yeah,
you
it
knew
just
the
came
whole
out.
you knew the whole thing about like, hey man, we got to get out of the hotel.
Yeah, we got to get out of here.
Remember,
we were
we
staying
were
at the
downtown
Fairmont.
Winnipeg,
And it
at
was
the Fairmont.
fly.
Remember, we couldn't open the windows.
Yeah.
And O was like, I'd never done this before, but O was like, man, we got to take that money.
We
that
get
they
the dough.
use. We get the dough.
And then we go to get our spot.
We get the P. Diddy.
We get the P. Diddy. We get that per diem. And then we get the big trucks. And then we got dope rentals.
We got matching Denali's. I got a white one, you got a black one. And a ridiculous house that we kicked this woman and her son out of.
I know, that was voluntary.
We paid her a lot of money.
I was about to say, we didn't kick her.
No.
She was
we
well
paid her
compensated.
money, yeah. And we lived in that house. And
It was
we
awesome.
It was
off of Croydon?
I don't know.
Corden.
But we
Off of
just-
Corden. That's the name of their drag.
we
Off of
ran
Corden.
that.
So did you guys
town.
start Airbnb?
We kind of
We
started.
got low key. And we're just a couple billion short now,
Right.
but
Yeah. But that was the beginning, man. It was,
That was
the
it.
best. We spent the whole summer together there. And remember, we were there. We were in Winnipeg because of SARS.
because of SARS. You know what? And when Zika broke out in Miami, that's the first thing I thought of was SARS. Honestly.
Wow.
Because SARS was like this mythical kind of thing. People were walking around with the masks on and this and the other. It's one of those things that you're like, is this thing even real? I don't know anybody that has SARS. I don't know anybody who knows somebody who has SARS.
But you didn't want to take the chance on getting it.
Well, it wasn't us.
That was Jay Lover.
Yeah, that was Jay Lover.
Jay Lover was like,
she was like, no, I'm good on the SARS. I'm good on SARS and slaughter. So we moved. It was supposed to be in Toronto, then it moved over to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And boy, are we happy for
ruled
it.
Yeah, it was the best.
But we're all here to talk sports and life, and wow, we got a lot to cover, ladies and gentlemen. More scandal in the world of the NFL. Unfortunately, like I said a couple months ago, at the point when President Cheeto dropped the whole "these sons of bitches" remarks, I thought it was a complete stalemate that possibly will never get solved because everybody is too proud now to step down for the greater good, and the cause of what it's actually about, what the original protests are about, is completely lost. Yeah. And so is the quality of the NFL to a certain degree, because they got them playing on so many damn days that now guys get hurt like it's going out of style.
They can't even heal.
You can't heal. You need 7 days at least. You need at least 6 days.
Well, and you've programmed your body to do that.
But
exactly.
is that a mood issue? Does the NFL, are we just barking into the wind? Because is the NFL, they're not going to change the Thursday night schedule, right? They're gonna
I think it's over. I think they're keeping that forever.
But I don't think that's up to the players.
Those games are never good. They're hardly ever good, the Thursday night games.
Very rarely.
How about just the overall kind of lousy season it's been? It's been a sort of mediocre NFL season all around.
I don't feel like that. When Deshaun Watson was in the league, it was very, very
but he's been out for a long time now.
I know.
And this is what I was telling him. He had something ridiculous. Did you look it up?
Yeah, I looked it up, and I'm dead on as usual.
Oh my goodness. So let me tell you what the crux of this argument was. But we're just doing a rundown real quick. We got that. We got a lot of action in Major League Baseball, which is actually why our good friend Bobby wanted to stop by. Because
let's
he's
talk
a
about
giant Yankee fan.
Can't wait for the rundown. Can't wait for the rundown.
Can't wait for the rundown.
I can't wait.
We got LeBron James still being a complete menace to the league, and Kawhi Leonard coming back, which is a big deal in the NBA. We don't cover much NBA, actually. We stick to baseball, boxing, and football for the most part.
Porzingis.
And Chris Stapps. And we got a lot to talk about with this fight. With Bobby's fellow countryman, Cuban Guillermo Rigondeaux, let the world down against Lomachenko this past weekend, where he decided to quit on the stool. But let's go back to the NFL, because I agree with what we're saying. The league I don't think it's bad. I just think that there's a cloud over it personally. And there's been a cloud by a series of bad decisions by powerful people, including Eli Manning being benched for Geno Smith, Tyrod Taylor being benched for no good reason. Then he came back trying to do too much and got that concussion piece that who knows what's that
work.
He got to work, man. He got
How about
served.
the Eagles not running the ball inside the 10-yard line? Just keep letting Wentz drop back and throw.
And then drop back and try to run, which is what got him hurt.
That? Why not hand the ball off?
I'm here to tell you, honest to God, less than 3 minutes before Carson Wentz tears his ACL, we were at the house. The icon said, Carson Wentz is a stud, but he's not an athletic, agile, run kind of guy. He's too big to do that. Yeah. He runs too often. He's going to mess around and get hurt. Literally less than 3 minutes later, Carson Wentz, and I said, you know what? I think it just happened. And because it didn't look like a crazy play, but I could see, as somebody who's got bum wheels, I could see that the knees went the wrong directions. And it looked a lot like RG3 when they torpedoed RG3.
They say that about any quarterback. They don't want any quarterbacks really to run.
No,
even
except for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, except for Russell Wilson. But even them, they back
them
off.
They would prefer them
to just pass the ball.
Yes, I agree.
So, why are you making Carson Wentz ever run the ball?
And he never slides.
See, but
Carson Wentz
this
never
is the problem,
slides.
though, because that's his decision. He does it on the fly, which I can understand. He's competitive, but you have to tone that down. I just literally said that.
Why'd you go out and get Jay Ajayi if you're going to be inside the
Exactly.
10-yard line?
You got Jay Ajayi and LeGarrette Blount. Go Blunt Force. Go Blunt Force if you're inside the 10. Yeah. I don't think they can stop him for 10 yards. I really don't believe it. And
not both of them.
Not both of them. And then he gets the touchdown, and it gets called back for holding.
So he didn't get the touchdown.
So he did not get the tug. Unbelievable. So what Terry told me that we can speak on is he felt like Deshaun Watson is up for the MVP.
Not the MVP, for the Rookie of the Year.
For Rookie of the Year over Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz ain't a
rookie. But that's what I was about to say. Carson Wentz had played last year pretty well. So And I told him, I said, Deshaun Stevens been hurt for like 20 years now.
How about Deshaun Watson?
No, but Deshaun Stevenson's been hurt for longer because he had a diss record come out years ago.
Hey, no joke. We all play fantasy, and Deshaun Watson is still, I think, in the top 10 of
This is
stats.
what I'm
His numbers are stupid.
He
was putting up 4 or 5 touches a day.
He started 6 games. He had 19 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Carson Wentz literally
But we've now established Carson Wentz isn't the benchmark because he's not a rookie.
Yeah, but still. If we're going to compare quarterbacks.
If he's not a rookie.
Yeah, but even if it's not a rookie, comparing his stats to Deshaun Watson, he started 13 games, and he had 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
Yeah.
I mean, if you double what the 12 games, your man would have at least, 32 touchdowns?
Yeah, but you can't just assume that you double. That's why
But
they have to do it because he's hurt. And
his quarterback rating is higher than his.
He's not going to win the Rookie of the Year. He's not going to win the Rookie of the Year.
You can't win it not playing 5 games.
Now, Alvin Kamara is.
He'll probably win it. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, Alvin Kamara,
now
he's putting in work.
But
he should have won it anyways.
Watson would have played it the whole season.
This is where we always argue. Terry loves a good shoulda, coulda, woulda. Well, but if he did this, if he would have
but the kid's got stats right now. That's not like me making nothing up. 19 touchdowns in 6 games?
His stats
19 touchdowns, 6 games.
His stats are silly.
Kevin Moss learned how to hit that cheese.
He would have been better than Don Mattingly, but he never did that.
Why you got to bring up Kevin Moss? You an old
I love bringing up Kevin Moss whenever people got coulda, woulda, shouldas. I'm like, that's the ultimate coulda, woulda, shoulda right there.
No, Don Mattingly was the ultimate because Don didn't get to, he didn't get to live it out.
Yeah, because that bad back. Damn, he needed those stem cells.
I can't even.
So I had that dual.
He did, right?
Yeah, he did. He was a monster. People sleep because
does that bring us to the Marlins? Does that bring us to Giancarlo
almost?
Stanton?
But almost. He's a guy. Hold down.
Calm down, dude.
No, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for today. Bobby has to go.
I saw the sign.
I saw it. It was low. So, no, man. I don't know. I just think the NFL is putting out a mediocre product now, and not mediocre because there's not a lot of competition for them, but in comparison to where they were, guys are getting hurt more, not because guys are bigger, faster, stronger. It's, in my opinion, it's completely because guys don't have time to heal.
I feel like it's more corporate that's doing that than them being able to heal because they've changed the rules so much. These dudes don't even know you're running full speed. You want them to tackle. Don't tackle in this area and don't tackle in that area. Right. Don't touch this guy in that area.
Focus on his right nipple.
Right. It's almost impossible to run a 4-2 and then stop on a dime and not touch the quarterback. Come on, man. That's not realistic.
Ownership trying to sell you that story that it's for other reasons that the NFL's not doing well. And that's just
crap. Yeah. That's a B. But see, this is what I'm talking about. I feel like all of these, these false narratives all coming home to roost now because you have Goodell getting crazy money for his extension, and he doesn't have to barter for health care. He has lifetime health care. He has a guaranteed contract, and he's never tackled anybody. He's never thrown one interception
which Jerry Jones is still trying to block.
Yeah, and that's just personal because he's mad about Zeke. Yeah, I'm going to get that boy one way or the other. Y'all better believe it, boy. You better believe it. But he's got you have that going on. You have the cloud of the confusion that started out as a peaceful protest that reached to the highest ranks in the country. You got President Cheeto talking about calling guys names and blah, 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 blah. It's never going to work out the right way. And they got to figure out what they're going to do because more and more NFL players are openly saying, I don't have my son playing football. Are you crazy? My kid plays baseball. My kid plays soccer.
Right.
My kid, you know what I mean? It's more and more. They don't even
I don't want my kids
to
get brain damage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have more guys who are retiring quicker now, understanding, hey, it's inevitable. It's not an if, it's a when. So if I can get my hands on some cheese and then
football is a lot like boxing because those guys use that as a step to get out of the hood most of the time. How many really affluent people do you see pick up the game of football and play it and take it to the next level? There's not a lot of them.
Yeah, only people like the Howie Long's kids and the Mannings. Yeah, I was about to say people whose parents were involved. And then if you look at the Mannings, Peyton Manning's got his neck fused. Think about that. But he was playing in a lower position of danger, if you will, than some of the other positions. But I don't know.
Was he at quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know how many rules they have to protect a quarterback now, as opposed to if you're a middle linebacker. That's what I said. He broke his neck. Yeah. And that's the low side, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Not like a running back who's in a car crash every time he carries the ball.
Or not like, look at Ryan Shazier. We're talking about a guy now that is literally fighting for his ability to walk.
Right. He had dislocated back.
He had to have a spine surgery on a tackle that didn't look any different than anything that we've seen at any other point in the game.
Right.
Not a dirty play, not a surprise hit. He actually was the one that did the sticking.
Yeah.
And he's still in a bad way. It's just a tough spot. But just running down the teams real quick, you know what? I was surprised that Minnesota didn't pull out that game against Carolina in Carolina.
I picked Carolina to win that game.
Did you?
In my fantasy, on the daily fantasy, because Minnesota's overrated. I mean,
You think?
Yeah, Case Keenum is good, but if you look at the numbers of the stats versus when he plays against a top-tier defense, he doesn't get it done. Even when they played the Rams defense isn't where it was at that point, so where it is now.
Right.
So he took advantage of that, and that's
As
what
he
he's supposed
should.
to.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
as
he's
he
supposed to
should.
do. But he's not like an elite quarterback.
But this is what I mean about the NFL in general this year, man. There's like no clear great team. There just isn't.
There's
I
no
thought
parity, huh?
Maybe the Eagles the other day, but like I really thought those were the two best teams, the Eagles and the Rams.
Oh,
I
the Eagles
agree.
are
I
the
really like
agree.
watching the
I
Rams
agree.
play, and now
And
I
I
think
like
it's
the
all
Saints.
Rams.
I like the
I don't
Saints.
know what happened last night with the Pats.
Yeah, they
Tom
just have a
Brady
hard
looked
time in
old. He
Miami.
got old overnight. That
Yeah.
looked
Yeah, but
terrible.
he's been looking old.
Yeah, he has been looking old.
Even though his numbers are some of the best numbers of his career.
Yeah, but he put up big
if
numbers
you-
early in the season.
But if you watch the games, you can see the step that he's lost at times. You know what I mean? You can see he's not the same that he was even in the Super Bowl this year earlier. Even though that's what can you do? He's 58 years old and he's still playing. He's still the starting quarterback. So what do you want from him?
I just hope it's the Steelers that come out of that AFC.
Hey, you see this?
Why?
Mike
Because-
Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is actually. Did you hear what he said?
I don't even care. What did he say though? Let me know anyway.
Wow, so rough. Mike Tomlin
Why
said
don't you, what you got against Mike Tomlin?
he's so
Because
mad.
he's a loser.
There you go. I mean, he's always so far over the top. He's a loser. He's got 2 rings, I think, 2, maybe even 3, and he's a loser.
He's got
two.
one ring.
Coward's got the other one.
He's got one ring, and he's had an all-star team, and he always loses.
One
in
ring
the-
or he got 2 rings?
No, he's got one, and he always loses in the big games, and he always loses to the Patriots. That pisses me off because,
He won the big game once.
come on, man, so did Mike Socha. Those guys live off of that forever. Get your team prepared. They're always looking ahead of the schedule instead of.
Man, sure. All right, man. Damn. I feel like I'm
Did you do
a
a
meeting
pilot?
with Suge Knight.
Did you do?
You might not get out of here, Koreatown.
Did you do a pilot with T that he didn't get picked up on?
Yeah. He told me to bifurcate. I'm pissed. Damn it. My last check was 50 cents.
Bobby Cannavale, a.k.a. E.F. Hutton, ladies and gentlemen.
Man.
No, yeah, but you are. You're so mad at him. But I'll say this. Mike Tomlin, this time around, has embraced the idea for what people like you were saying that he always loses the big game.
If he loses this game, he should retire because coming up, the
Jeez.
Patriots are so bad. Their defense is so bad, and they don't have the pieces. There's no reason with what's on paper that the Patriots should be able to compete with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Totally, but we've been saying that for years
Yeah.
with a
And
lot of
so that's
teams.
my point about
Well,
Mike
but this
Tomlin.
one is going to be at Heinz Field. I think that's going to make a difference.
Tom Brady's probably going to light them up
But it's
again.
such a
which is
classic situation we have here, right? We got the Pats coming off a demoralizing loss to an inferior
It's a
team.
terrible team, right.
Classic Belichick situation. Now he's got to take it to Pittsburgh to a good team. They're going to win that game.
terrible. You think they're going to win it?
I mean, that's the
I can't
Belichick
stand
standard.
them, but they're going
they
to win.
those games.
That's the story.
Those-
They're gonna
that is
win.
the
They're gonna
story.
go
And
there
and
and
this
they're
is
going
the
to win that
problem
game.
because they shouldn't win that game.
Well, but this is what Tomlin is saying. Tomlin's saying this is the most important game of the season, and I am so happy. It's good to be in the kitchen. And guess what? The kitchen is at Heinz Field this Sunday. That's what he said. So he's talking the right talk.
He always talks the right talk.
I just don't understand.
Then again, I'd rather if they're going to lose, if the Pats, they're going to see each other again down the road. So
Maybe.
if they lose this game, if the Steelers lose this game, maybe
down the road,
down the
they actually
road,
get the
they
win.
actually get that win.
It's hard
gets
to beat
that
a
big
football
win.
team twice like that.
Yeah, but they said that the Patriots have the home field advantage though. If the Patriots, either way, right?
I don't know. I think that loss last night
that
actually
loss
hurt them.
Yeah, I think the loss
because
hurt
they were looking at 14-2.
Yeah, but they were
something
talking
like
about
that. Now
the head-to-head or whatever it is. I just heard it earlier that the Patriots still have the home field for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I don't know. I feel like that's why this is such a big game, not just in the sense
I
of
think it's
getting
a
over
big
the
game
hump.
just for ego. And it's like you want to get over the hump. It was like when the Patriots, I'm stuck on the Patriots. When
Love the Patriots.
when the Detroit Pistons were trying to get past when the Bulls were trying to get past the Pistons in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're trying to do. Pittsburgh needs to get over the hump with the Patriots.
Yeah, right.
We're going to see because it's as much, to me, it's as much of Belichick owning Tomlin as it is any other matchup that you can set up in the actual players. You like those, don't you?
Leg warmers.
I got It's cold in here, all right?
Oh, it's
A little flash dance for you.
like
little flash dance.
like leg
Tuesday.
warmers.
No, I had that actor injury. I told you I got that surgery. Remember, I was going to go to Miami. I ended up
yeah.
getting it. I got that surgery on both knees.
And what
11 days out. I'm in. I'm good. I'm standing up and everything.
both of them.
Both of them.
It's crazy.
Both of them.
Wow. I was just talking about him earlier. He's riding his bike and everything.
Yeah. No, these are a sleeve that instead of like the neoprene sleeve because it can get infected.
Yeah.
This is some sort of cloth sleeve that the doctor told me to go pick up, and they feel great. By the way.
Are they tight?
Yeah, they're compressed, but they're not compressed like a normal thing. Yeah, they're supposed to help the swelling.
Cool. You look like that Danity Kane from here.
Great.
Just from here.
That's the look I was going for.
The little skin showing. Hey, you want to do 5 minutes on the Jets?
Oh yeah, okay. So let's go. Speaking of terrible teams, now ever since I've known you, you've been a Jets guy, as opposed to the Giants. Yeah. But I had the feeling when we talked about Eli Manning being benched, you looked like you made a face like you didn't appreciate it.
I was so mad about that.
That was wrong.
That's just so wrong.
That was wrong.
Well, there's no. Geno Smith isn't the guy. It's not like you're doing a.
And
you know what I mean?
How important was it for ownership to give McAdoo already had enough reasons. You already had enough reasons to fire him.
100%.
It's not like you go, all right, let's let him do this, so then we have a reason to fire him. You already had a reason to fire him.
They're
Giants
terrible.
fans were already ready for you to fire
100%.
him. So what was the point of that?
But see, this is what I'm saying. There's been a series of bad decisions in the NFL from everybody from players to ownership to the actual president of the country. It's all, there's been a series of garbage that has clouded the season of the NFL. Whereas if you look at Major League Baseball, for example, it is impossible for Major League Baseball to have had a better season than they had.
Yeah, right.
They had a great World Baseball Classic that was exciting, and the USA came out victorious. They had an exciting season, the whole season full of ups and downs and, tight races and so on and so forth. You have a crazy playoffs and a 7-game World Series.
Yeah.
Everything went right for Major League Baseball, and everything has gone wrong for the NFL to the point where I don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs and, the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl's in Minnesota. Who wants to go to Minnesota for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, right.
The Super Bowl is an event. It's the thing that people go.
You have to keep it in California, Florida, something like that.
Even when
they did it in New York a
They
couple
always
few
did
years
that.
ago,
They
that was
always
terrible.
put it everywhere.
Yeah, they do. They put it everywhere.
But what we're saying is to draw more people to it. Because if you do it in New
To
York,
the actual game, you mean?
to the actual game.
I don't feel like the actual game. The actual game's always sold out.
Yeah, the event.
I mean the
Because
event
they
of
didn't
the
even-
week.
yeah, they barely had
it's a week long. It does. It's a
What do you
week
mean, though,
long
for
event.
viewers to watch?
No,
It's just the
no.
game.
I'm
the
talking
biggest
about
game of the year.
It is the biggest game of the year. It's 100 million people watching worldwide. There's no two ways about that. What I'm saying is that there's a series of events for Super Bowl week.
Yes.
That literally is like the who's who of the cool kids.
But they'll do that anyway, no matter where it is.
But they
not-
suffered.
not
They
the
suffered when
same.
they did it in New York just a few years ago because
They suffered when they did it in Detroit. Is where they suffered.
Yeah, but they couldn't. They
unfortunately.
hadn't even sold out all the seats in New York.
Indeed.
It's good for those cities.
It is good for those cities. It is good for the
It brings
cities.
money into those cities.
But if you're talking about a series winner, how many people are going to go out?
you mean like celebrities don't want to go to Minneapolis? You mean like that?
Not just celebrities. There's a lot of businessmen and all kind of stuff. There's a lot of people, and this is why Visa gives away that you and your boy can go to the Super Bowl for life. They're sending people out to the week of Super Bowl. I didn't know this either until it was in Miami, actually, and the first time that I went. And Super Bowl week is fantastic. I recommend everybody, if you have the means,
I know, but that's
go. Even if it's not the game.
Yeah.
You could fly home the morning of the game and watch the game at home and still win.
But it's just on Minnesota. It's on Minneapolis to create as much fun as Miami. Yeah, of course, Miami's going to be more fun. They got
No. But see, but I agree.
Got,
But I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about what the limitations are because of weather. Even if it's not snowy and so on. For example, I went to the one in Dallas, right? And on a fluke, it was actually snowy in Dallas. Right. And it impacted the experience of the Super Bowl. All of the corporate sponsors and so on and so forth, that's what they were all talking about.
Yeah, right.
And Detroit, Indianapolis.
So you say it should be in a warm weather city.
I feel like.
I mean, like I hear you. It doesn't really matter. In fact, they should do it in a neutral place. Why don't they do it at in Miami, but not where the Dolphins play.
Yeah, at the
or
Rose,
something,
or out here at the Rose Bowl or something.
Right.
Like a neutral
But this is what I'm
zone.
saying.
Yeah, that's what we're talking
That's
about.
exactly what we're saying. It's in the same vein that I feel like Major League Baseball should start every single April in the South and in the West. How many fantasy games does your season get jacked up?
Well, it's not even fantasy.
Delays?
It's actually the Major League Baseball gets messed up by that. Because
Yeah, but let's talk
you got
about what's
games
important.
canceled.
It's fantasy.
You got mostly Latin American players. And
This is what we're talking about.
Who don't want to play in the
In the
cold.
cold.
They don't want to play in the cold.
Exactly. Come on, dude.
We're
Coming
not making
from
a
the
generalization, right? That's true.
cold.
No, it's true.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it is true. And baseball isn't a game that's designed to be played in elements.
Yeah.
The element that you play in is heat and varying levels of that
That's
heat.
why they're the boys of summer.
Yeah, not in 32 degrees, 35 degrees. I remember that watching that Indians game, and it was something like 37 degrees. Then you got guys pulling hammies in the whole song and dance. It's just not
Pitchers
right.
jamming you. You got your hand frozen.
I remember going to the first game of Yankee Stadium the last year. The Yankee Stadium was open. I think it was last year. Yankee Stadium was open, and the first game of the year, and it snowed. I remember being like, "Wow, I couldn't believe it was snowing opening day, Yankee Stadium." Yeah,
it's crazy. So, would you like to talk about the Jets and the future of the Jets before we move on?
Let's do 5 minutes on the Jets.
Let's roll on the Jets.
How about 4:30?
They stink. They're so bad.
They're really bad.
But Josh McCown was having a great season, though.
Everything went wrong.
Josh McCown was, but then they got blanked. No team should ever
donut
get blanked.
in the league.
A donut in the NFL, man.
Yeah, but
with as offensive friendly as the NFL
you got backup quarterbacks who presumably,
but they
can
really
play
are
the league,
professionals.
who are presumably better than Colin Kaepernick, right?
Yes,
apparently.
Presumably, Bryce Petty is better than Colin Kaepernick. Presumably. What's the kid's name?
Yeah, we can't even remember his name.
The
From
second
Buffalo?
that they used in the second round. No, that the Jets wasted that second round pick on. That Penn State quarterback can't sit at the side of a barn.
Well, you'll
his name?
figure him out.
Yeah.
Well, I'll look it up for you.
Not McCaffrey. Hackenberg.
Yes.
Christian Hackenberg.
I was thinking Fitzgerald, but yeah.
Yeah,
man. But and my thing is for all these teams that are terrible, right? Yeah, Christian Hackenberg. My thing is for all these teams that are terrible, what is the organization doing to stop being terrible? And when you look at the Jets, they aren't doing anything to not be terrible. It seemed like everything went downhill when your man bombed on the quarterback and broke his jaw. Everything went downhill from that point a few years ago. Like you guys were promising in the preseason in that time.
I still feel like it's up to the coaching staff because you have Bilal Powell. And you have that kid, Robbie Anderson, and you have a few other players there that you can actually make noise with. You still have Matt Forte.
A pretty young, exciting defense.
Yeah,
that kid Jamal Adams is very good.
Exactly.
Big Cat's good.
So you have to come up with a scheme to fit your talent. You just can't keep on going out there every week and just taking losses like it's nothing.
I don't know, man. I always maintain that, like, those 2 years that we went to the AFC Championship, those 2 in a row, like, they were just flukes, man. And, you know,
you think?
Well, I always say that, like, the thing about those 2 teams was they did an incredible job with free agency that year. They brought in LaDainian Tomlinson and Jason Taylor, and those 2 guys.
They brought in Jason Taylor, and that was very big.
And
that
LaDainian
was really
Tomlinson,
big.
like 2
LT
veterans
at a
on
resurrection,
both offense and defense that like changed that team.
And you know what? We actually went to the Jets training camp out here. It was an unofficial. Matt Sanchez called all those guys to come out.
How about
Remember?
Mark Sanchez?
No, Matt Sanchez. He called all those guys to come out. And they played. That was the summer, right? That was in. He had like a draft, and LT was Day was out there, and I would think that was before he was officially on the team.
Yeah,
that was like we saw him and we spoke to him, and he was talking about he had a chip on his shoulder because basically the league had tried to retire him.
That's right.
And then he came back and balled.
Yeah, that was a big deal. Those free agents. They had plaques that year.
Yeah.
They had Braylon.
Yeah.
Like, they had, like, some really crafty veterans on that team.
Matter of fact, I went to a game on my birthday. That was when they first opened the new stadium, right? Right around that time?
Yeah.
I went to a game where Brett Favre came back with Minnesota. I went to a game on my birthday out there, courtesy of the NFL.
Yeah, but
One love, NFL.
Yeah, but see, now they do still have that mix of veterans and youth, and they're not using it. You have Matt Forte. Who do you have? Austin Safarian as tight end, right?
But it's not the same, man. LaDainian Tomlinson was a
Hall of Fame
MVP
guy.
Yeah, but Matt Forte
guy.
too.
So
Matt
was Jason
Forte is
Taylor.
too.
Is he?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Matt Forte is a stud especially when he was in Chicago. But the thing of it is that they don't have a scheme. I've come to find that most of these teams have problems because they don't have a scheme. They don't have an idea or an identity.
They don't have an identity.
Yeah.
And they had an identity at that point.
Yeah.
They did have an
It
identity.
was a ground and pound, and it was defense.
And Rex Ryan was known as the defensive coordinator. And actually, they went up there, if I remember correctly, and they beat the Patriots in Foxborough.
That's right.
Because Rex Ryan is good at defense.
Right.
Not a good head coach, but he's great at defensive coordinating.
Yeah. I just don't know where they go from here is my thing. You waste picks you do all you make.
And now we're going to have like the 8th pick or something, or the 7th. You know what I mean? Like, we don't even have a good pick.
Yeah, you're not bad enough.
If you're gonna stink it up and not put any
Be the
points on the
Browns.
board, then be the Browns.
Yeah, but you know what, though? This is where the fans come in and quit supporting teams like that. That's what the fans
But
have
see,
to do.
this is the thing.
I know, but
He'll
then what do we
never
do?
not
How am I
support-
not going to
yeah.
support them?
Yeah.
Like, every now and then I think
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and like my wife, who's not even American and doesn't know anything about American sports, even she says to me, "You can't do that. What are you talking about?"
Right.
What are you going to do? You can't lead your team, and then as
but
soon as
you
I leave
can,
my
though.
team,
They're going to be good.
They're going to be good.
They're
Yeah.
going to figure it out.
I left my team. It was the Dolphins. I left them alone.
Yeah,
time
he
ago
did.
again.
He
Yeah.
loved the
That
Dolphins.
makes
I
sense.
used to love it. Yeah, but what's the difference between the Dolphins and the Jets?
The Dolphins are terrible.
So are the Jets. And actually, Miami just beat the Patriots.
And so are the Raiders.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, that's our 4.5 on the Jets.
yeah.
The Raiders are, I'm going through a divorce with the Raiders, and I'm actually in that spot that you're talking about with leaving your team. I've been a lifelong Raider Nation member. And
You got a good reason now that they're leaving LA.
and that's the whole
Leaving
thing.
California.
Well, that's the whole thing. I can follow you. I followed them when I was a baby before they came to LA. Then I followed them in LA. Then I followed them back in Oakland. They're a California institution, and now they're leaving. And now you see another situation with bad decisions from upper management. Derek Carr is out there looking like Derek Fisher because he can't play properly because his back is messed up. I don't care what anybody says. You're not supposed to come back after 2 weeks with a broken back. I don't care what anybody says.
But he doesn't play on defense.
He does not play on defense. That's up to Jack Del Rio and those guys to get the defense together. But either way it goes, I mean, the Chiefs are a terrible team at this point, and they got waxed by the Chiefs. Like it was.
Chiefs lost 7 in a row.
Something like that.
The Chiefs have one of the worst defenses in
I think
football.
7 out of their last 9
man,
or something like
They're
that.
terrible, and that's
But they
another,
won-
that's
they beat the
another bad
Raiders.
coach though, and he actually pointed it out.
Early in the season
Yeah.
and even last season because he was
Guys-
really, really high on the Chiefs.
Guys like
Andy Reid
find a way to lose.
He will snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. That Chiefs team last year should have been. They
This
should have
Chiefs
beat.
team is great.
They had a couple injuries this year. Last year they should have beat the Patriots. They should have. They
lost
were,
Eric Berry, but then
they
what-
should have beat the Steelers. And then they should have beat the Patriots.
Yeah, but they lost Eric Berry in the first game of this year. But still, they have Kareem Hunt. They quit giving him the ball.
They stopped giving him the ball. You couldn't
They
stop.
stopped giving
and
the ball to
truthfully,
Tyreek Hill.
He should have been the Rookie of the Year.
Yes,
that
he
kid
would've been
came out with like
250 yards first game.
against me. The OZone, this guy was telling me, hey, you should pick up in your draft? You should pick up this kid. This kid in Kansas City is supposed to be pretty good. Hunt. I was like, whatever. I got Todd Gurley. I got Devontae Freeman. Then the hurricane came, so like Landry couldn't play. A bunch of I think it was the Falcons versus the Dolphins was the first game of the year. And a lot of my guys missed.
Wait a minute. And then he told me, he said, let me go pick up this Kareem Hunt. You keep talking about this guy.
So I go pick up Kareem Hunt, and I can't pick up Kareem Hunt because he's busy busting my ass. And Kareem Hunt gave me work, and I got blown out. And that actually, I'm the losing organization in my fantasy team. I'm the Jets.
Nice going, mate.
Exactly.
Are you guys in the playoffs? Are you in the playoffs?
I'm in the consolation playoffs. I'm in the loser playoffs.
I'm not playing fantasy football.
But I did win my game.
I'm in first place.
Oh, really?
Are you in the playoffs?
I had the bye last week.
Oh, wow. So it's go time.
Thank God, dude, because I got Mariota and Andy Dalton, and they both each gave me 4 points.
You just sounded
They're terrible.
like my man in Die Hard, the villain, because you said I have Mariota and Andy Dalton.
Yeah, dude, it's on now. I got it's playoffs this week.
I'll read you my squad, and they should have been good.
Yeah, but who's Tennessee playing this week? Is it Indy?
San Francisco. So,
San Francisco.
I'm in good shape.
Nice.
I think, right? They're playing
San Francisco
49ers.
defense is not that bad.
San Francisco actually is on the upswing.
Yeah,
if
with
you deal
Garoppolo.
with Garoppolo. They got some, not right now, but I think they have a good future.
But their defense is really not that bad.
That's why I'm saying I think they have a good future.
Tennessee
Even though
gotta
they
get a
got
new
rid of
coach.
Navarro Bowman.
Tennessee gotta get a new coach, man.
Almost
How
every
do they
team
not
in the
know how to
league needs a
use
new
Marcus
coach.
Mariota, man? Marcus Mariota should have had a good year this year.
This
got
is what
hurt,
we're
though.
talking about. This is what we're talking about because here last year with the Rams, Jeff Fisher couldn't figure out how to figure anything out, and now they got the young kid in there,
With the same team.
the same team,
Come on,
and
dude.
they're the best
Plus
team
Cooper
in the
Kupp.
league.
Cooper Kupp's pretty good.
Well, they have Sammy Watkins and Robert Woods. It's not the same team, but what has happened?
It's close enough.
Yeah, but what happened is that they said that Jared Goff was a bust, and it wasn't.
And he
true.
was not.
They never gave him an opportunity to play.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And
You
which
gave him an opportunity to
impacted
play.
Todd Gurley as
exactly.
well.
And then,
But you know what? Some people still ain't on the Jared Goff.
well, they don't have
That's
to be.
okay.
But
Jared
Goff
Goff
gets
is-
the job.
is-
No.
Yes, and
Yeah,
he puts
he
up
wins games.
He puts up numbers.
Yeah.
He's putting up numbers himself. All right, that's enough football. That's enough meathead for my life. Let's move on to a game so fine it's played on diamonds.
Okay, I'm sorry we ran out of time, Bobby.
Oh, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the hot stove heated up this past week in Major League
hot
Baseball.
stove is on fire.
It's on fire. Even though people keep saying that it's a dud. I don't know why they would say that, but there's a lot of moves being made in Major League Baseball, the biggest of which came from possibly the biggest physically guy on the league who now has helped the lineup become the biggest, baddest lineup in all of baseball. I say that without hesitation. The New York Yankees picked up Giancarlo Stanton. I talked to Giancarlo at the Dodgers at the Game 1 of the World Series, and I asked him what was up, and he was like, yeah, I'm working on it now. I'm trying to get back to the crib, meaning here. And so then when it all heated up, I was like, he's going to come to L.A. He's
from
gonna
LA?
come to LA. Yeah, he's from here. And then And then next thing you know, the evil empire strikes again. And let me tell you something. I, for one, am impressed with Brian Cashman with this move. And I don't know if it was Steinbrenner or Cashman or who it was, but making this move for what they gave up. I don't know if this was just an homage from Derek Jeter to the team or what. And I mean, Jeter's come out with some pretty strong statements of saying, hey, look, if you guys didn't notice, the Marlins were not a winning organization. And so when teams don't win, it's the upper management's job to make a move. And that's what I did. He said, I wouldn't have done anything differently, blah, blah, blah.
But whoever would have thought that Derek Jeter would be under the gun as far as not, he's being bashed right now.
Derek Jeter's Tom Hicks.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
And he's being bashed right now for not showing up to the winter meetings. He's making these moves, and he's not showing up. And that's a part of the gig, to show up to the winter meetings.
Why ain't he showing up?
Nobody knows.
People are trying to figure that out.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
That's how you make moves.
Because they all talk to each other.
Yeah.
It's a big powwow, and they're there now in Orlando.
And now we're throwing around players and numbers and all that kind of stuff.
You know what? Maybe we could move, blah, blah, blah. You know who I like on your team? Well, we may be able to do something.
It's fantasy baseball for them.
Yeah, that's true. It's fantasy. But let's just talk about what the Yankees pulled off. This is unbelievable. And
biggest baseball coup in the last decade, huh?
I mean, the Yankees went
Is
from...
it okay to say I'm going to miss Starlin Castro?
100%, because Starlin Castro's a winner.
28-year-old winner, man.
You got to give him up. You got to give up something.
No, 100%. You got to give him up. But I kind of feel bad for him to a certain degree.
I would have rather given up, what's his name? Aaron Hicks.
Maybe they can get him back. But Aaron Hicks is like a journeyman now, so it's not like giving him up. What you can't justifiably say, yeah, we're going to give you Aaron Hicks for our
Yeah, but Aaron, it's not like they gave up Starlin Castro for Giancarlo Stanton. They threw, I mean, that's kind of a throw-in, right?
No,
Starlin was the assumption. The assumption of the contract and Starlin, what he can bring to that organization, because Starlin Castro is a perennial league leader in batting. He's a really good baseball player in general, and he's supposed to be a good clubhouse guy. The reason I feel bad for Starlin Castro is
because his name is Castro and he's going to be in Miami.
I didn't think of that.
But he's not supposed to stay in Miami. They're getting rid of him as well.
Well, good for him. Yeah. But no, what I'm saying is the reason I feel bad for him is Starlin Castro, I think he led the league in hitting in Chicago and won the batting title or came in second, something like that.
Yeah.
They get rid of him. What happens? They win the World Series. Now the Yankees, I mean, they're one game away from going to the World Series, which is unbelievable because if we harken back to May of 2016, when Aroldis Chapman is having domestic abuse problems, he's suspended. The Yankees are falling down the tubes. They're having a scandal with A-Rod because they have to keep paying him, but they have to find a way to give him the signal to get out of Dodge without, you know what I mean?
Same with Tex.
And same with Tex. I mean, everybody got old overnight. A-Rod had been old, but everybody else got old overnight.
Dylan Betances and that whole nonsense with the team.
With the arbitration and everything.
Arbitration.
And then you cut to last year.
If I was Jeter, I would have tried to get Betances.
I would have too. That's who I would have tried to get. I would have tried to get Castro and Betances. Yeah, because he doesn't have a good report and he didn't pitch well in the playoffs. Yeah. But now you look at that situation from such a short period. This is why baseball is the best. Such a short time ago, the Yankees were kind of like a throwaway. Everybody, including us at the beginning of this season, were talking about the Boston Red Sox winning because of getting Chris Sale. They were talking about the Boston Red Sox winning the East. And that was like not even in... It was like, oh, will the Yankees be able to compete as far as just a rivalry? Not will they actually win the East or will they actually get to deep into the playoffs? Mm-hmm. Me, myself, I got on the mic and I had no belief whatsoever, and I'm a Yankee supporter for people who don't know. I had no belief whatsoever that the Yankees were going to beat the Indians at all. And that was before they went down 2-0. And then even after they went down 2-0, I still didn't think they were going to win the series.
Yeah, right.
And even when they came back. No, Cleveland was the best. In my opinion, Cleveland was the best team in baseball. Yeah. But what can you do? And now look at them. I mean, realistically, even if they don't make any more moves, and the Yankees are known for doing it big, the Yankees are on the verge of winning another world championship.
Well, that's why they got rid of Chase Headley earlier today, because they're trying to free up some more space.
Oh, that happened?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's back in San Diego.
Oh, that's all right.
And who else went with him? Brian Mitchell.
Yeah, Brian Mitchell.
So what they're doing is clearing up some money so that they can get some pitchers, because they know that they have some arms in the minor leagues.
And what do we have? Torreyes now at second?
Well, they're trying to decide if they're going to use Torreyes or
Gleyber.
Or they have the other kid too, Wade. What's his name? The kid Wade, or is it his? I don't want to say Wade Davis. I forgot the kid's name.
Not Frazier.
No. They have another kid they've been bringing up and down for a little while now. That's in from the minor.
Yeah, what happens with Frazier now?
What happens with Frazier? What happens with the kid that tore his knee up in Chicago? What happens with
Todd Frazier's supposed to be out of there?
No, not.
You're talking about Clint Frazier.
I'm a young Frazier.
Clint Frazier's a stud.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
I mean, but I would play him over Brett Gardner.
I can't sit down Brett Gardner.
I can't say
He's
Brett Gardner
still he's the
now.
last
competitive.
tie that I have to that Yankee
Yeah, but
lore.
it doesn't matter. You need to groom this
No,
kid.
look at Brett Gardner's numbers.
I'm
Brett
talking
Gardner
about,
balled
but
this
you
year.
won't miss anything by bringing in this Clinton Frazier kid because this Clinton Frazier kid is the
missed,
future.
You missed that Yankee thing that you missed, and you need that at least for a little while.
The Yankees still, to me, aren't going to win. They're not going to win the World
What
Series.
happens with Jacoby?
They're trying to trade Jacoby,
But Jacoby has a no trade clause.
He's
Who
getting a lot
gave
of
Jacoby
money.
Ellsbury a no trade
Well, he
clause?
was a stud when they got him, but not
He
only
was,
that,
but he
not
wasn't
only,
like
but not
a
only
no
that,
trade stud.
why in the world would Jacoby Ellsbury take himself out of that situation?
Exactly.
What's the motivation for me to say, oh no, you know what? I'm going to do what's right for the team. No, I'm going to stay here.
Yeah,
and if
except
you
that-
don't play me, that's your problem. But I'm going to get a ring.
And I'm going to get a ring, and I'm going to get this cheese.
Yeah, but he doesn't strike me as the kind of person that's just going to ride pine and like not want to play baseball.
Well, he's been doing that for the past few years because he's always hurt.
He's been hurt, and he's been platooning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
He really never got back to
If the
where
Boston
he was
Red
when he
Sox
left Boston.
And he stopped running. That
Which
was like
is what
one of the big reasons
that
we
was
got
the big
him.
draw
yeah, but he
for him to be at the top of the lineup.
But his legs, he lost his
They
legs.
ran his leg out. I don't know.
But if the Boston Red Sox could get J.D. Martinez, they're right back in there with the
How was it?
He lost his legs quick too. As
He
soon
did.
as he got
Like,
here.
oh,
he lost
remember,
his
as soon
legs.
as he
You
signed the
remember-
contract.
Hey, but you remember that happened to Bernie Williams too.
It did. Bernie, and
Bernie-
he had that perfect form, but he
Yeah,
wasn't
and
moving
then all of a sudden
anywhere.
you're like, where?
Yeah, but at least we had Bernie Williams for all those great
No,
years.
you had
Yes.
Bernie
Yeah.
to the
It's
best.
just the legs just go.
Jacoby turned into Jacoby and Myers. Right? He's
Legal
an accident
breach.
attorney.
Legal
yeah.
breach.
Legal breach.
Damn.
It went the wrong way.
Yeah.
But let's just look at that potential lineup. I mean, the lineup is insane.
It's sick.
We're saying Brett Gardner. Who you got in your two hole?
Well, they're saying Giancarlo.
In the two hole.
Yes.
Okay, let's rewind. Rewind, selector. How do you feel about Aaron Boone getting signed up over some of the other guys?
I guess you know what the truth is. I don't know enough about. I'm not that in tune with like this whole new breed of manager. I was pretty
Yeah.
upset that Joe Girardi got canned.
So this is what we were saying.
there
But
was
then
no
I'm
reason
like,
for
but then I
Girardi.
was like, am I just missing something like that the young
No, you're
kids
not.
know about with the analytics and all that?
Oh,
Because-
see, I don't
The
buy into
analytics-
that.
the
I
analytics
don't
are
buy
so
into that.
is that a
overrated.
real thing?
It's a real thing, but it's so overrated because it doesn't compensate for the human element. I mean,
Yeah, man. What about a guy that just knows baseball guy
Exactly.
like Joe Girardi?
Joe Girardi knows baseball. He
or
made
like
a couple
Derek
bad
Jeter type
moves,
that just makes a decision on the fly that changes the game around. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he just
We
changed
just
all of
talked
baseball.
about it, but
Yeah.
we just talked about how the Yankees completely overachieved, and you can't not tell
You
me that
can't
Joe
tell me
Girardi
that Girardi
didn't
didn't have something to do with that.
They said
I
he couldn't
I
communicate
can't
with kids.
believe it. Apparently, he's communicating something because those guys went out there and overachieved. They are 2 years ahead of schedule, not just 1 year. The Yankees weren't supposed to be the kind of relevant that they were this year until the end of 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
They were in a rebuilding phase. They
I
let
think that-
Aroldis Chapman go. The biggest move that facilitated this whole thing was them letting Chapman go and Andrew Miller go and restocking. And when they did that, and then
Yeah.
they were able to get Chapman back, the whole game changed.
Great job by Brian Cashman, huh?
Great job by Cash.
He restocked that whole farm system just by understanding that they were old.
But what is it about?
Yeah.
What is it about Joe Girardi, man? Like
He rubbed somebody the wrong way.
it's the same thing happened in Miami, right? I mean, he
Yeah.
won in Miami
Yes.
too,
Yes.
and they pushed him out.
But I think that he's just a hard nosed guy, and
Yeah.
he takes winning serious, and he could be the Bill Belichick or the Popovich of baseball, but they just won't let him be. Let him go. Let him do his thing
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
wins.
Yeah.
And
He
there's,
does win. There's
yeah,
just no
and
you
can't deny it.
Where's he going to show up now?
I would think anywhere that wants to win.
Yeah.
But for some reason now he's getting that reputation like a journeyman, like the guy that's actually a good player but never gets to actually play with one team.
Right, and
because
he's getting a Dusty Baker basically.
Yeah, but he's a way better manager.
Oh,
than
no
Dusty
question.
Baker.
But I mean, but they're giving him the Dusty Baker.
No, that's not true though. You know why? Because Dusty Baker, people desired to hire like the Nationals. The Nationals thought they were winning when they got Dusty.
Now, if Joe Girardi went to the Nationals, forget about
The
it.
Nationals might win the World Series.
Is he a
National-
little Bobby V?
No,
maybe.
I don't think he's Bobby V.
Just
Bobby
in
V
terms
was out
of the
there.
way they're, yeah, Bobby V was out there, but
No. I didn't know that's
the
what
way
you
that
meant.
the way they're treating him. I mean,
That's what I thought you meant.
yeah, that's what I
like a
mean.
pariah
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah,
But he's
And-
not like that. But he's not like
No.
Bobby V.
And-
Bobby V was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had but I don't think
He gives me
that-
more Billy Martin than he does Bobby V.
Maybe so, but I don't know. He's not a. See, that's the thing. I actually think that's why they keep moving him around. I think he's a little too straight nosed, too stiff. I don't think he gives you enough Billy Martin and Bobby V in the sense that I don't think that he's a big personality. Joe Girardi wins games. He comes to work clean cut. He's serious. He actually talks to the press. He addresses them in a serious manner.
Yeah.
And then that's that. It's strictly business.
And I also think he kind of doesn't suffer fools. Do you know what I mean?
This is what he's
And I
saying.
think-
He's a
and I
hard-nosed
think that
dude.
rubs people the wrong way.
He's a fool.
In the world of PC, that doesn't go over well.
Yeah. And you could see it on his face. Like, if you ask him a stupid-ass question,
He's gonna give you
I think
that-
He
he's
looks
gonna look
at you
at you
like
like,
you're
hey.
stupid, you know?
Yeah,
And-
you're asking me that.
Well, a key example is when they were playing Cleveland and he didn't challenge the hit by pitch and Francisco Lindor hits comes up and hits a grand slam. And the first reporter said, knowing what you know now, would you challenge the call? He looked at the guy. He's like, yeah, I think I would. Like, what do you want from me? I mean, I dropped the ball. And guess what? He came back and won that series.
Just won that series. He almost went to the World Series.
So now you're talking about, wow, Giancarlo in the 2-hole, huh? I don't know if I go with that. I think I go.
That's what they're saying for me.
I think I go speed at the top.
I would. You need somebody on base in front of these guys.
Right, that's why I say I go
all
Gardner.
those guys that they're at the bottom of the lineup that they keep talking about putting at the bottom. I would put them at the top so that you can have these guys actually produce runs. Otherwise, they're going to hit a bunch of solo bombs.
But you know what? Am I crazy? Is Aaron Judge is a better runner than Giancarlo Stanton, right? Even though he's huge.
They're
pretty
actually,
good runners.
both of them
Both are
actually
good
run
athletes.
well.
They could both run
They
well.
can both
right.
run well.
I know
Neither
Aaron Judge
one of
could
them
definitely
he
run
can run.
well.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that,
He's a
honestly,
great
I
athlete.
think that Aaron Judge is better than Giancarlo.
On the bases.
Period.
Yeah, right.
Just because he hits for average, he's learning the game, and Giancarlo.
I don't know about
But you
that.
just never know, man. You can't make that call now. You
Yeah, that's
don't
what I
know
feel
what's
like.
going to happen next year.
It's
Like,
once
as
again.
much as-
He's not better than him right now.
I know
you
he
can
made
say
the-
that for sure.
and I know
I can't say that for
he's
sure.
not. He's not better. Look at
Why not?
Giancarlo's
Look at the
numbers.
Look at Aaron Judge's numbers. They're
Yeah.
not that far off. They're both right there.
Yeah, but Giancarlo's numbers are better. So
I
whether
don't-
they're
I
not
don't know,
far
but-
off
but
or
what
not,
are you talking
Giancarlo's
about
numbers are better.
Because Judge's numbers probably are better because he's in a better lineup. Marcelo knew.
So you're making my point. Judge
No.
is in a better lineup than
I'm
Stanton
going to look up
was.
the numbers.
Look up the numbers. There's no way. Stanton won the MVP. He hit you 59 bombs.
He shouldn't have won the MVP,
100.
though.
Oh, here we go.
He shouldn't have won it.
Look at his numbers.
Because he hits home runs.
Look at his numbers.
I'm so far.
Look at his numbers.
I'm so far out of this big pop situation because
Can
that
you-
doesn't win baseball games.
Can you look up the numbers
I'm
while
gonna
we
look up the
have
numbers.
a adult conversation while you talking
Those
about
numbers.
Are you crazy?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
am actually.
This we
Can you
know.
commit me?
But who else would you? Who would you put in the 2-hole?
I would put Didi Gregorius.
Yeah, I was about to say because Didi can hit,
Yeah, right. Didi can't hit.
and then you put I probably go here come the Judge in the 3-hole, and then followed by Stanton because Judge still needs to work out that off speed pitch.
And then Dirty Sanchez 5.
I'm not going Dirty Sanchez 5. I'm probably going Greg Bird 5. I like Greg Bird a lot.
Oh, I forgot about Greg
The
Bird.
lineup
let's look
is
at these numbers.
stupid. The lineup is stupid. Then Dirty Sanchez.
Then Dirty Bird.
Then Dirty Bird. Then whoever we got playing third.
We don't think it'll be Frazier.
Todd Frazier
Yeah.
or Clint Frazier?
Todd Frazier.
They're talking like Todd Frazier's about to bounce
Todd
because
Frazier
they got him
will
on
be around.
basically like a rental.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So I don't know why he
Kinda
wouldn't
like
want
Todd
to make a
Frazier,
deal.
though. He likes
I think he
playing
fits
here.
in. Yeah, and I think he's a big time guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't hit. He's the guy that he's talking about. He doesn't hit for average.
So
Right. He's got brushes.
Giancarlo gave you 2 stolen bags, 59 bombs, 132 ribeyes, and 168 hits. A bat 281. Aaron Judge gave you 270, 124 ribeyes, 56 bombs, and 169 hits.
So if we had to
On a
go
better
on
team.
on a
crazy
much better
better
team
team.
with a much better lineup, I have to say that the guy that's hitting with only Marcelo Zuna in the lineup is the better player at this point. And I'm not saying
What are you
I'm not
talking
saying
about?
that it's
He's got
going to
more
be
than Marcelo
I'm
Zuna.
not going to say.
and hitting better pitching.
I mean, Judge
But
gets
this,
more.
this kid has only
Judge-
been in the league for a year and a half.
though I think they're the same age. If not, Judge may be older. Actually, yeah,
Let's
you may
see.
want to check that. But I
Really?
think, yeah, because Judge he didn't get to the league. He didn't get to the show for a while.
I have a question. Why did it take so long for Judge to come up?
Because he wasn't ready.
Yeah, I
So
think
what was his big issue?
No, Aaron Judge is
Struck out a
like
lot?
3 years younger.
he's 3 years younger.
Did he strike out a lot?
He strikes out now. Both of them have holes. If you listen to John Smoltz and a lot of the
man.
big time pitchers talk about it, they will, and which is going to probably change this year. They will give them a problem. Basically, one of the biggest things that they have to do
it
to
may
these
not
guys.
change though because sorry to jump in, but it may not change because now they got crazy lineup.
Yeah, but busting these guys inside and hard sliders away. Aaron Judge has a big hole up,
yeah.
and then he has a problem.
And he
just
had a
like
problem
all
with the
hitters
hard stuff
with
up.
the hard stuff up.
Remember,
and then
remember when
hard,
Chris Sale came in and carved him?
Yeah. Let me ask a stupid question. Like, are these guys? Are these guys not able to? Because I truly don't know. Are they unable to learn how to hit those pitches at this point?
It's not even that you learn.
Like, do they just like spring training? Like, wouldn't they just?
That's when you tune it up. But what you would learn is that if you have a hole right there, don't swing at it because more than likely it's not a strike. So when Aaron Judge is swinging at stuff around his shoulders, around his chest, it's not a strike. Lay off of it. Take a walk. Take a walk, and then you'll increase your on-base percentage, and then you'll get better pitches to hit because they won't be able to walk you because you have these big monster power guys right behind you.
Exactly. And you know who's a key guy who made that adjustment and got ran out of New York and then made the adjustment, was able to stay in the league and be productive, was Alfonso Soriano. Because if you remember when they played against the Marlins, Alfonso Soriano couldn't hit that low outside slider. They made him look bad. And this guy hitting 40 bombs a year.
And in the playoffs, the Red Sox exposed him.
Yeah, and then they got rid of him for Cano, who was a better hitter. But then, truth be told, he went to go have maybe 10 more productive seasons with the Cubs and all over the league, hitting 30, 35 bombs a year. He may have only hit 225, 230, but he's the new prototype of what it is.
I hate it when we got rid of Fonz.
Me too. I actually prefer Fonz to Robbie for my money because just the way they play the game, Robbie has that cool thing where he acts like the game doesn't matter, and I don't like that. And even though he hits 3 whatever, he can strike out in a big situation and blow a bubble or something, and that never rubs me the right way.
Yeah, right.
Fonzie loved the game, and he loved being a Yankee. You could see that he loved being a Yankee.
Yeah.
So moving on though, because we're
about
be here all
pitching?
day. Well, that's what I was going to
do?
say. That's what I was going to say. They're talking about, and this is the move I think they should make. They're talking about getting Alex Cobb
And Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole is a stud. Everybody can say
He's
whatever they want to.
Front of the line.
He's an ace. Garrett Cole's an ace, and he got the runaround, and that's what rubbed him the wrong way.
He's still in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, and we're always hanging on the thread of the arm of Tanaka, who showed up in the playoffs in a way that was nobody could have predicted that he was going to do what he did in the playoffs.
Right.
He showed up in the playoffs, and then you got Ace. What are we going to do with Big Blood? Because
he's out there, but they're saying the Angels are trying to swoop him up.
Really?
I would let CC go. I mean, CC, he was serviceable. He was serviceable.
Nobody ran through a big contract better than CC Sabathia.
Yeah, but that's the
in
past,
all of
though.
sports. No. I'm not arguing that.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that he
lived
provided
up to it.
He provided his service to the last day.
Yeah.
The pitching performance in the playoffs here was unbelievable.
Right.
You can't expect him to shut down the Astros twice. Come on, man. That's too much. You're asking too much.
Yeah.
Well, and
He shut down the Indians in the big game.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
the
who's going to
big,
give
big
him
game.
a big multi-year contract?
Nobody.
Nobody.
I don't even think he's looking for a big multi-year
So-
contract.
so
when
what-
we saw him at the fight, he was like, "Hey, Blood, I'm on my way out." He kept it 100 with us.
I hope he doesn't go. I love the big fella.
Yeah,
No, man, he's a great guy.
He's a
Good
great
guy,
guy,
dude.
and he's
Yeah,
a great
man.
Yankee.
Yeah.
And he's another guy who, in my opinion, is a role model because you know what?
Yeah.
CC won. Then he had a hard time in his personal life with his
That's
knee
life.
problems. Then he had a hard time with the alcohol problem. And you know
life.
what he did? He came out and he said, "Hey, guess what? I got a problem, and I'm going to get help for my problem.
And I'm responsible.
And I'm responsible for it. And with the help of my family and my team, I'm going to be a better person." And he did that.
Yeah.
And he came
And
back and bounced
that's
back.
not rewarded enough nowadays.
And it doesn't.
No?
It isn't. And you know, I want to jump into something real quick that kind of jumps into our baseball talk, where it is. I think this is a great flashpoint to talk about in society. Is with this kid Keaton that got bullied. Have you seen this thing?
Yeah.
I know I have an unpopular opinion about this. For me, it's terrible that kids are killing themselves behind bullying and all of the stuff that's going on nowadays. It is also terrible that you then allow your kid to be bullied, and the way that you handle your kid being bullied is to coddle. I can't tell you how many adults that I know now that are bad people, and you can always trace it back to some sort of a trait that they have as a kid, whether you knew them or not as a kid. Some sort of trait that they had that was nourished or incentivized in a way. Now everybody's feeling like they got buyer's remorse because you come to find his mom is a redneck and she's throwing out pictures with the Confederate flag and so on and so forth. That doesn't have anything to do with the kid. You know, you can
Exactly.
still support,
That's
you can still
nothing to
support
do with the kid.
That you don't get to
I'm
choose
asleep.
who
I don't know
raises
what y'all
you.
talking about.
So you know this kid Keaton down in Tennessee, and he got bullied by some kids, right? Anyways, I personally feel like, and now what's happened is every celebrity in the world, you should invite him to the Jumanji premiere. Everybody's inviting him somewhere. And everybody's like, "Hey, you got a pal for life, blah, 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 blah." His mom raised $60,000 in a GoFundMe for his college thing, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But it's just, you know, I actually think bullying is terrible, but it has a place in society. And I think that I wasn't a kid to get bullied, but at the same time, there's a fight or flight that has to be instilled in people, especially in males, that I personally think that we are consistently losing in the United States.
Yeah, but I think something with this kid is that he has some kind of physical issue or something like that, or maybe a mental issue. I'm not sure.
I didn't know anything about that. I thought he was a regular kid.
Yeah, no. And not only that, though, even when
One of them regular kids?
I thought he was one of them regular kids.
this dude, the mother has a problem, okay, but then it's reaping and sowing because what she's done is that she's set the standard of being a bully somewhat of herself.
Yes.
If she's a racist, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
And now she's reaped this, and now it's being sold on her child in a sense.
Yeah, it's the truth.
You know, and we just have to watch out the way that we raise our kids because you want them to be productive citizens in society and you want them to be good people.
Yeah.
And there's no place for anybody to jump on another kid or anything, pour milk or whatever.
No.
You know, and
No.
even when you talk about bullying, a lot of times kids don't know how to fight back.
Yeah.
And it's her job to teach this kid that, not by coddling her,
Just to stand up. I mean, just
but just to stand up. And not only that, where were the teachers of the school? What's going on? Where you go to a school where this is going on, where they're pouring milk and giving Murphys and everything else.
It's called Animal House, dude.
Woo! Murphy! It's crazy.
Anywho, yeah, it is crazy, but yeah, that's I don't know. I have a problem with our overall direction in the States. We're really going soft in a way in general. There's a lot of Charlie Lee Brandt going down nowadays.
Soft in a way.
A lot of Tom Glavine.
But
But back to our favorite game. Now, I think the Yankees got they got Tanaka, they got Sonny Gray,
they got Sevy.
and they got Sevy, who's the ace, and they got your man, who was the best pitcher on the whole staff. He just needs to work on his stuff. He has the best stuff on the whole staff, other than Sevy. Chad Green.
Yeah.
Chad Green's a stud. They don't really need that much more
Well, they
help,
have
in
that
my
kid
opinion.
in the minor leagues too, Chance Adams, that they're talking about bringing up. That had
I like
Oh, I
Chance.
like Chance.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like
that
Chance.
ERA is not even 2. But
I
everybody
still think you need a one more guy.
Yeah,
You
but
need-
everybody's talking about the Yankees. Still, the Astros are the world champions, and they still
doubt.
look great. And not only that, the Red Sox are only one player away from being the Yankees.
and that one
And that's
player,
JD Martinez.
JD Martinez. Ooh, you took it out of
Yeah.
my mouth. Ah, come
you
on.
get JD Martinez, and you right there with the Yankees.
Sure are,
because you
JD
got
Martinez
Benintendi
has
and all these other young
crazy
kids.
pop. JD Martinez, and it's funny because I actually think he's the prize of this free agency.
I do too.
And I don't think you consider Giancarlo a free agency move, but he's the prize of the free agents. Let's see the notable free agents are still out there: Yu Darvish, JD Martinez, Eric Hosmer, Jake Arrieta, Lorenzo Cain, Wade
Machado?
Davis. No, that would be a trade. Mike
And they said-
Moustakas, Jay Bruce, Todd Frazier, Carlos Santana, and Otani.
Everybody's after Jay Bruce, but they also said that the
Why wouldn't he go back to Cleveland? Why
The
wouldn't Cleveland
Orioles-
keep him.
the Orioles would not let the Yankees get Manny Machado.
So that's the only place they won't let him go
They
to.
won't-
in
I think
division.
it's 2 places. Maybe it's Boston and the Orioles.
That makes
I
sense.
mean,
Why would you trade him in the division? There's no logic there.
I mean, but the Yankees, I just think that they wouldn't want to give it to him, even if they weren't in the division.
And
they
why
you'd see a
else
stacked
would
team
the
with them.
Dodgers? Why would the Dodgers let Brandon Morrow go?
That's
The
terrible
only
baseball.
time Brandon Morrow got hit in this postseason, all year, not even just a postseason, all year, the only time he got hit
When you
was
ran
when
him out
you
there
ran
every
him
day?
out there every single day, and he was too tired, and the guy hit a bomb off him. Other than that, was one game. That was at one game 5. Other than that, you couldn't hit Brandon Morrow this year.
He's always been a stud starter. But I wonder why, because the Yankees had that crazy bullpen, why other teams weren't interested in him like that. I didn't even know he was available, honestly.
And neither did I.
But you get a guy like Brandon Morrow, man. They said he's probably going to be the closer of the Cubs
Man.
because they're letting Wade Davis go.
Where's Wade Davis going to go?
I don't know,
Right?
to the cornfields.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they got big deals out
Just
there
like
now?
that, huh? Oh, man, that's harsh.
And now, what's your take on Otani? Quick one. From what you've seen.
I don't think.
Other than him making you eat a lemon.
I don't see somebody playing both ways.
We've never seen
the
it.
major
I mean,
leagues.
it's hard to visualize.
Babe Ruth is the only person,
I
right?
cannot imagine with what the kind of money they pay hitters, real hitters in the major leagues. They're going to let a pitcher take a spot. Like
Well,
that.
you know,
and that's
he's
what they were
DHing.
saying. They were saying, well, I just listened to Mike Socha on the way over here at the winter meetings, and he was saying that they asked him which side of his game has the higher potential. And he said he has a higher potential to dominate a game as a pitcher than he does as a hitter. And so we're going to use him as a pitcher, but actually also want to use him to contribute offensively.
Yeah, he's
meaning
supposed to
DH and
He's supposed to DH 3 to 4 times a week.
yeah.
I don't believe anything Mike Scioscia says. Mike Scioscia changes his mind every 5 minutes.
Hey, listen, you're talking about the head of the Mike Scioscia anti club
Mike
over
Scioscia
there.
is one of the worst managers in baseball, dude.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, dude, Omar was just saying something about you. I just wanted you to, chime in.
By the way, we run into Mike Scioscia every year somewhere.
No way he's going to let Otani hit, man.
Oh, no, that's supposed to be one of the
That was like the
things
key
for him
signing,
for him to come.
Yeah, okay.
But he could probably hit. I just, the first year or so, don't think that he's not going to be able. The dude is like the Babe Ruth of
he says that he's going to hit
Japan.
and pitch in the same game.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's
I doubt
In
it.
the American League?
I doubt it.
That's not going to happen.
Because you lose your DH like that.
wow. Do you know who the Yankees are talking about getting? Danny Duffy. That would be a great move for the Yankees because Danny Duffy's not going to show
Still
up and
Kansas
give you
City?
the Sonny Gray. Yeah. Danny Duffy's he's like a baby Chris Sale, low key.
Plus, it's fun to say Danny Duffy.
Kind of like
It sound like you
Dilly.
practiced.
No, it did.
Danny Duffy. Danny Duffy. Give me one more.
hilarious.
One more.
Danny Duffy.
Oh, my
Yeah, man, but I think Otani's the real deal. I mean, pitching wise, and I think he's going to swing the stick. He probably hit like 250, 260 this year, probably 20-something bombs. But overall, I don't, it is what it is.
Actually, the Angels got a pretty good lineup if you look at their lineup.
Not the Angels ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, but they have a good lineup. a lot of teams aren't
because
going
I
anywhere.
feel like they should let the players play both ways. Because you got that kid that the Reds just drafted that can play both ways from out here.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and that kid
Oh,
just
yeah.
like Otani.
freaking Hunter Green.
Yeah, Hunter Green. He throws 100 miles an hour and he plays
hits
shortstop.
bombs.
Yeah, and he hits
plays-
bombs.
And
Yeah.
they said Manny Machado wants to move to shortstop. By the way,
Yeah.
they made that
Yeah.
the official announcement.
Because he's a shortstop. He's not a third baseman, and they just moved him over there because they had J.J. Hardy. But Manny Machado is actually an above-average fielder, and for some reason, everybody acts like he can't play shortstop. He's still a kid.
Moving on. LeVar Ball has, for some reason, signed his kids to go to Lithuania, of all places. One of whom still has 2 years left in his high school career, and he wants them to play together in this. And they tweeted out a picture of where it is that they're supposed to be playing, and it is the high school gym, basically. And the president of the league that he plays, that they're going to play in, has said no team in the league should have more than 2 black players, because when more than 2 black players comes, how do I say it? They gang up. There becomes a gang element. And I couldn't make that. I'm not that creative. I couldn't make this stuff up.
How do they know about gangs like that in Lithuania?
Because you had some African Americans who decided to show up and form a
Crip and Blood union.
a Pyru union in the Lithuanian Hoop League. Blood was popping, and so it it didn't work out. And
Wow,
so-
are you kidding?
But herein lies the thing. So now, I don't know where you're at on this 4-piece.
Lonzo Ball is like a. Is that his name? That's the
No,
dad?
LeVar. See, that's the
Ball.
thing. Lonzo's
That's
is
like
the
a
player.
West Coast thing. We don't talk about him that much over on the East Coast.
Really?
Wow,
You really
He's
don't,
big
huh?
news.
He's
Yeah,
big news.
It's big over here.
Yeah, because he's from this area.
Yeah, he's from here.
From here, yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is that he's actually, to me, ruining. Now, I was on his side for a few minutes, but he's ruining his son's careers now because you're talking about a kid going out there to play with grown men. He's not even out of high school yet, and you're going to send him over here to play with some grown men in Lithuania.
Culture shock. What do we do in Lithuania in a town of 10,000 people?
But isn't that just so that he can bring them here after a year, so that they pass that, so that they can get drafted in the NBA, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, in this situation, his other son Lonzo's already their hustle already worked, if you will, in that he talked up his son to get more hype than, in my opinion, he actually deserved.
good, though. Lonzo's
He is good. I agree.
What if
I
the other
agree.
ones are just as good? What
The
if
other,
he
truth
knows
be told,
something
the
we
youngest
don't
one's
know?
supposed to be better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
the-
what?
yeah.
So maybe he's the smartest one of all. Maybe he's like,
Listen, this is why we're speaking on it in the
Yeah.
OZone, because we've been down with Lonzo. I mean, with LeVar Ball the whole way, because all you hear about is absent fathers in the black community and so on and so forth, and in all the minority and impoverished communities, you hear about absent fathers. And now you have a guy who's outspoken. He's playing the game. Yeah, it's a little crass at times, but the publicity game that he's playing actually got the light on his kid. I wouldn't have known who Lonzo Ball was if it wasn't for LeVar Ball. And then he got him to the Lakers. And the kid, despite the fact that people like to bash him, he's almost averaging a triple-dub. The kid is actually high sevens on every category. You know what I mean? He did like 7.7, 7.8, 7.9, something like that. So he's getting the job done. And as we all know, after you fool around with this professional sports world, if Terry would have went to the major leagues, I would have went to the major leagues. The nepotism is real.
Yeah.
It's just like the movies and just like everything else. You know what I mean? Once you know somebody, you can actually help you usher
Exactly.
your family members in, so on and so forth. So I feel like now with this move, just with the where it is, the Lithuanian, this, that, and the other, and then he really rubbed me the wrong way the other day. They asked him about going to the White House and meet up with Cheeto, and he's like, "Not if Trump is cooking. If Trump cooking, I ain't going over there." Now maybe if they had some chicken and waffles, I come through. And it was, I was like, "Oh, come on, man, you can't."
He said that. Hey, here's what I think, okay? I was kidding about not knowing who LeVar Ball is. Of course I know who he is. But here's what I think. It just sort of connects a little bit to what you were saying before about the kid who's bullied. You might not like this. But here's what I think. Oh, you want me to be done? No, here's what I think. Actually, there's something I kind of like about LeVar Ball, and it's this. Every time I hear that guy talk, he's talking about his kids. I don't ever hear him.
This is why we've been with him the whole time.
I don't ever hear him talk about like with all due respect, right? You're talking about like you guys were just talking about how like we need to be doing this for our kids. We need to do this. We need to do that. We as a culture. But actually, what I think is nobody knows what my kids need more than what I think they need.
I'm all the way with you.
And so I don't really listen to the noise. I think it's all noise. I don't raise my kid according to like the way society thinks I should raise my kid.
I'm all the way with you.
And I
completely
think
agree.
like whatever LeVar Ball, whenever he talks about his kids, I never hear him talk about like what the black community is doing or how society is failing our children. I just hear him talk about what he thinks
His three
is right
boys.
for his three boys.
And this is why we've supported him from the word go.
I kind of like that about him.
I love that about him. Yeah. And I love the fact that he even started his own Big Baller brand. I loved all of that.
And you know what? Like, he must have done something right with those kids because this kid Lonzo Ball is for real, man. And
why are you sold on him like that?
Everybody keeps on saying like, he's going to ruin his kid. He's going to ruin his kid, but the kid seems to be doing fine.
I'm with you.
No, I feel like his kids are good people. But I'm saying I'm talking about the numbers in basketball. Why do you feel like he's like that? Why do you feel like Lonzo Ball is so good? He's not good like that.
He's pretty good, man.
I don't know. Last time we looked at his numbers, he was so mad because he shoots 43% from the free throw line, which is whack.
Even lower than that.
But even with that, his numbers are still very respectable for a rookie.
Pretty good for a rookie. Man. He's a young rookie too.
Yeah, and now he's a teenager.
Yeah,
and so I'm with you.
Playing in Los Angeles,
under the bright lights and the pressure from his dad.
Those kids,
the pressure from Magic.
Those kids look pretty good.
I'm with you in general. I'm with you all the way across the board. He's been faltering,
I think Dad gives pretty good cover. Like I agree
with that too.
I think he's got a whole thing going where he's taking the hit. He's the one out there clowning whatever it is it takes to get the heat off his actual kids.
I agree with you top to bottom
I don't
on
agree
that.
with that.
And then but the problem that I have is there's been two incidents, and obviously nobody's perfect, but there's been two high profile incidents where the way that he handled it was, for example, when the kid got busted for the shoplifting in China. He made no concession whatsoever that the shoplifting itself was wrong. Never once.
Yeah, right.
He never
that's
said
a problem.
And I'm with him. I'm with him completely about him raising his kids and about how even one bad instance isn't going to define his kids.
Yeah.
I think he's absolutely right. People make mistakes. Kids make mistakes. Adults make mistakes. I make mistakes. A lot of them. And so I don't think that's a problem. But when you try to conflate the two things of the shoplifting, big deal. My kid's still the one. He should be starting tomorrow at UCLA.
Yeah, right.
This is when you start to lose me. And then you're always going to lose me when you start to suggest the stereotype of the fried chicken to come to the house.
Bro, our nickname for each other is four-piece. Our relationship kind of started on a stereotype with that chicken, that bird.
But that's between you two.
I was just about to say, but we're both minorities.
But you know what, though? We also don't know what Lonzo Ball told his kid. Off the record, we don't know.
We didn't know Lonzo Ball had a kid.
I mean, sorry, LeVar Ball. Sorry, we don't know what LeVar Ball. We don't know what conversation he had with his kid. And again,
we don't know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but see, what I disagree with you is when you talk about him, elevating his kids, but then he's getting into it with the Laker coaching staff now. That's a problem, because now you can't cause you're causing a problem for your son.
But the coaching staff doesn't have to engage. They don't want to.
They
have just ignore him.
They had to incorporate the gag rule to stop him from speaking to the media because he's causing confusion in between and after games, talking about what his son should be doing. That's not cool. You're hurting the squad.
I don't know, man. I think you could do whatever you want when it comes to your kids. You could say whatever you want.
I agree, but not when it comes to where can you go to an office and start speaking to the employer?
You got to put the camera on. LeVar Ball could shout into the wind. Cameras on him, and he knows that. And
he knows. He knows. I mean, he's effective.
I think he's kind of.
So
yeah.
I'm with you.
I don't know, man. We're living in a culture where this moron's president.
I agree.
Right, I agree.
I agree with that. I agree with
one
that.
of my
I
biggest
agree
things
with
is
that.
that people
So,
love.
so how far
you know,
can we
right.
actually be talking
but
about?
But one of the biggest problems is that people love a train wreck, and they want to
They
see them
do.
fail so
They
bad
do.
that everybody's putting all this bad stuff out there about them and their family just to see them ruined, and then they want to afterwards they'll say, "Oh, look at the train." I mean, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see them do well. I want to see them do well. Why not?
Yo, I gotta go get them wipes. I gotta go pick up
Yeah,
them
yeah,
wipes.
yeah, we're about to wrap it up in a minute. You better wrap it up.
The wipes and diapers on.
Last piece. Oh, I hit the button. Sorry. There we go. Last piece that I want to cover is: did you watch the fight this past weekend?
I did. I haven't done anything, dude.
Oh,
Just with these babies.
sorry.
I just
Listen,
with these babies.
You're just a love machine. I
haven't.
for nobody but you.
Yeah, baby.
I haven't. But did you guys really think that the Cuban was going to beat this guy?
He had a chance.
Well, here was my thing. It wasn't even just
guy's-
that. It wasn't
this
even.
guy's tough.
He talked himself into the fight, which was great, and he got his dough, which was great. The biggest problem I had, I didn't have a problem with him losing the fight
Me
if he
either.
lost the fight, because he went up 2 weight classes and 2 weight classes.
Who are you
from-
talking about? The Cuban or
Yeah,
Rodchenko?
Rigondeaux.
Yeah,
So
right.
to go from 122 to 130 is way different than going from 187 to 195. That 122 to 130 is a big difference
I
there.
could do that in a few days.
I can fluctuate like that the same day. You know what I mean? So but those guys that small, that's a big jump. And when you saw them in the ring together, it looked completely lopsided. Yeah. My problem is that Rigondeaux put on the show, tricked everybody, which is what they always do, and on a night that boxing was supposed to be showcased, it caught a black eye because the guy didn't get off the stool. In real life, he wasn't even getting beat up bad. He wasn't getting beat. It wasn't like, oh, stop the fight. It wasn't that kind of thing. No. He hadn't gotten knocked down. There was nothing. He literally just sat down and was like, you know what? That was enough. 5 was enough.
Yeah, right.
All right. I'll catch you guys there. Oh, my hand.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible.
It's just
And
unacceptable.
you rip off the fans. You rip off you rip off
your
boxing.
people.
I mean, come on, dude. You're getting paid millions of dollars to do this. You can't say, well, you know what?
But I don't think anybody would argue with you. I mean, I think everybody pretty much feels that way.
Yeah, but we're not looking for an argument all the time.
It's kind of a soft ending to the show.
You want to go hard? Got the voice of the people.
We already went hard.
Well, but see, that's not necessarily the ending, because there was another great fight between Tevin Farmer and I think my man's name was Asakui
Campbell,
and he wanted to know, are you ready? Because I'm ready, I'm ready to love you, love forever. Hey, love. You didn't think I was gonna be ready for Tevin Campbell?
I think you'd be ready for Tevin Campbell. Yo, man, I'm working on that. I'm working with Rashida. I'm doing Angie Tribeca.
We ran into her. We ran in. Oh yeah. Let's get that. So Tevin Farmer won at least 8 to 9 rounds of that fight and got cheated. And you know what? They might have messed up his life, and it's unfortunate. And they got to do better with all the judges. We're here. Last 5 minutes is what we want to talk about. What are you in LA doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm shooting that show, her show, Angie Tribeca.
Which is hilarious.
Hilarious, dude. Yeah. Man.
Now, is that improv or it's written?
No, it's all written.
Okay.
It's so funny.
It's just really off the cuff funny.
Dude, I laughed so hard.
At work?
Yeah, at work. Because, I usually do kind of heavy material. So
Yeah.
I'm never laughing at work.
Yeah.
And, dude, I can't stop. Like, I didn't know that I had that in me. Like, I didn't know that I was a person that breaks all the time.
Oh,
I break all the time.
Really?
Bro. I'm
You
always
can't keep
messing
it
up
together.
things. I can't keep it together. Like, I watch the show and I laugh, and it feels like I'm watching the show on my TV, but I'm in it.
I gotta come to set.
So it's fun, man. So I'm doing that, and then I'm going to do another show for Amazon with Julia Roberts called Homecoming.
Oh,
awesome.
nice.
Awesome.
So I'm here
So
for
we
a
got
while,
plenty
dude.
of 4-piece.
Yeah,
I love
bro.
it. I love it. You
Yeah.
stereo.
Yeah, I got to come out to the spot, man. I want to see your mom.
Oh yeah. She asked about you. As a matter of fact, she was mind blown because I turned on Mr. Robot. She was like, "What is that?" Because she didn't know what the show was. Then she showed you. She said, "He looks so familiar." I said, "Mom, it's Bobby." She's like, "What?" Because you look totally different now. And that was good. That's
cool.
good work.
Cool.
A lot of love on Mr. Robot. All right, folks. It's been a spirited and long edition of the OZone. Gonna leave you with a quote from Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. I am your host, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we can pull it all together, have patience and unity, and plenty of fried chicken with Bobby Cannavale.
That quote touched him. I saw it in his face.
I guess
Give him a wet wipe.
we got to go pick him up. He's got to go to the store.
I need wipes.
Thank you for our
Thanks for
special
having me,
guest,
bro.
Bobby Cannavale, coming
Thank
through.
you, bro.
This is the OZone.
Ozone.
Hey!